And on that effect, kami ba po ay umabot sa panahong hindi naniwala sa Diyos? Hindi naman po, pero nagduda kami sa Diyos. Doon po magsisimula. When you're recruited to the underground, into the CPP, magsisimula kang magduda na may Diyos.
Pero sabi mo nga, pagka sa encounter, you make the sign of the cross.
Patago lang.
So, totoo pala yung kasabihan na wala raw mga atheist pag mamamatay na. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, anything more? Sige. Hindi, meron lang ka-clarify, yung term na secretary o kalihim sa CPP, NPA, sa organization, hindi ito yung common understanding ng mga tao na secretary. Pag sinabing secretary o kalihim, puno ito.
Iyan ang head.
Okay.
The word chairman is only used to the party chairman.
Yeah.
The secretary or kalihim is the head of the party
Of
unit.
the unit or organ.
Yeah.
Any organ.
Hindi po siya record keeper.
Okay. Sige. So you're about to say something?
Yes, thank you po, Mr. Chair and Mr. Senate President. The urban mass movement operations in the infiltration, sir, extends beyond government offices and religious community. Right now, sir, ang pinakamalaking infiltration ay nasa UN, United Nations, European Union, and in the Filipino communities. Sir, in the last 5 years, may na-recover po na document, ang title niya ay Oplan Walibay. Oplan Walibay is an underground operations of the Communist Party designed to infiltrate the international community. One, to infiltrate the United Nations to weaken the position of our government at the international community. Two, to establish broadest network support among pro-communist, pro-socialist, anti-imperialist workers groups and associations. Three, to infiltrate favorable international groups such as European Union. And fourth, dito binabanggit ni Senator ni Mr. Chair and kanina, sir, to generate funds through infiltration of big NGO partnerships. And fifth is to develop a very strong support among Filipino communities and expatriates, building the underground organizations of compatriot, supporting the NDF. That is why in Hong Kong, the United Filipinos in Hong Kong, Migrante chapter, and in US, in the Europe, they are operating in 7 global regions, all with with CPP units, party committee. Even in the US, sir, napakalakas po ng CPP infiltration sa San Francisco, Los Angeles, sa New York, and even in Europe, and then sa other global regions. In the documents na pinabasa sa amin ng mga cadre, recovered last 2018, that Oplan Walibay shows that the government is including, the security sector in the Department of Foreign Affairs are blinded for so long of how the CPP exports infiltration, operation, and radicalization abroad. And ito ay unchallenged. Default po tayo, sir. This is a very serious problem. Kung kaya po mga report ng UN, mga rapporteurs na i-infiltrate po ito, na i-influence, and ito po ay very seriously undertaken, similar to the infiltration of Congress and government offices.
Eric, isang question lang You have reached the point of no return. Sigurado yan.
Yes, sir.
Baka after 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, ando ka na naman sa underground.
May lesson pa ako, sir. I will not be going the way of Ador Mawanay.
And so with Lady Miranda.
Mr. Chair, papatayin na po nila kami pag nagtangka kaming bumalik.
Siguro ganun din sina kaamihan. Si Camille na lahat.
Senator, Mr. Chair, Mr.
Meron
President.
meron bang instance na yung isang nagbalik loob sa gobyerno bumalik ulit?
Kung hindi po siya ma-expose at wala po siyang ginawang kagaya namin. Pero kapag ikaw ay naugnayan ng government, your worth and value to the revolutionary movement or the CPP and PNDF lessens. And you are be suspected again.
If I were a kalihim, I would definitely recruit you back and reproject you to be our infiltrator. But that's me.
Pwedeng mangyari po yan, sir. Kaya yun ang naging basis ng CPP Central Committee sa pag-liquidate at pag-assassinate kay Quintanar sa kay Tabara. They're reviewed as that way.
Hindi, iba naman yung yun, mga rejectionist yun
Part na yun, sir.
liquidate yun because
Mr.
yung na nag-liquid sa kanila, di ba, yung Rapier Mist? Kaya isa yan eh.
Yes, sir. Mayroon ba, sir, pagkakataon na nahuli pero bumalik? Kung ikaw po ay kategorya siguro ng mga chamson, pwede, sir. Pero pag mga ordinary categories sa mga kadre, na hindi mga kategorya ng mag-asawang chamson, mahirap mo kunin ang tiwala agad ng partido. There will be the so-called, kung sa atin, sir, may custodial debriefing or debriefing process, sa kanila there will be cooling and observation period. Ilalagay ka sa isang gawain na obserbahan kanila bago ka bumalik sa gawain dati muna po.
Mr. Chairman, hindi nila maiisip yung naisip mo dahil hindi naman sila naging officer ng MISG.
Baka pwede mo sabihin, hindi sila nag-PNP. Jan Fernandez.
Mr. Chair, gusto kong balikan yung tanong niyo kanina about the test, ultimate test, kung ikaw ay pwede nga mag-CPP. And I hope Eric will corroborate my, well, as of now, ano pa lang sir, haka-haka pa lang ito. But based on the revelations of former rebels, there's one common denominator. It's really lying. Lying ang isang na-perfect nila para labanan lahat ng narrative ng gobyerno. So, balikan ko sir yung kwento tungkol dito kay Ella Colmenares because this is very important, especially that we are talking of a celebrity. Ang celebrity sir, ang daming naaakit niyan and we have to establish or we have to debunk her claims na porke ikaw ay isang artista, palagi ka na lang tama. Porke ikaw ay si Darna, hindi ka na pwedeng magsinungaling. So gusto kong, kung pwede sir, pakinggan natin yung testimony nitong tatlong members ng main regional guerrilla unit dyan sa Quezon na nakasama nito ni Ella Colmenares just to put an end to that issue whether Ella Colmenares, kapatid ni Angel Locsin, ay isang NPA or not. So may we have the
Yes.
video of
Yeah, please proceed.
mga kode lang sir ang gagamitin nila kasi there are still active operations where this
I would just like to inform you na in case the militant groups who failed to appear today in today's hearing, kung atin sila sa next hearing, I'll give them the same opportunity. Fair is fair. Okay? And it's up to you if you're willing to attend alongside yung mga kung darating sila. It's all up to you, but we're going to invite you nevertheless to attend
If we
that same
get
hearing. In
invitation,
case
Mr. Chair.
they'll be here.
If we
Okay.
get the invitation, Mr. Chair, we will prepare immediately.
Sige, okay.
Webex sir, naka-Webex sila, they are on standby. Kung meron tayong mga tanong,
Go ahead, go ahead.
they're in Tanay right now.
Can our host check the login?
Yeah, kung naka-log in sila, start video na and audio.
While waiting, sir, let me just explain that there are so many of them waiting to be interviewed. They're all over the country. There are 9 in, 6 in Tanay. Sorry, 6 in Bicol. There are 12 in Tanay. Nandito na ata sila, sir.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chairman. Ako si John Christine, kumilo sa Central Quezon sa bilang kabataan mga kabayan. 1990 na nagsimula akong mag-organisa ng mga kasama doon sa aming lugar. Dahil ang katangian ng aming lugar ay libid, malayo sa kabihasnan, malayo sa kabayanan, malayo sa na halos sa panahon iyon na kumbaga tinawag ang aming lugar noon na malayong purok. Malayong purok dahil hindi ganun ka-active ang kilos militar ng panahon yun sa aming lugar. Halos sa amin na tumitira ang mga kasama, ang mga ubo. Pagmulan pa lang ng aming mata, nandiyan sila sa aming harapan. Doon sila kumakain, maglalaba. Kung ngayon madali na sa akin maorganisa, dahil araw-araw, yun ang naririnig ko. At bukod pa doon sa aking mga magulang ay kasama sa unit Sangay Pambaryo. Nasa parehas ang aking mga magulang ay miyembro ng Sangay na naorganisa rin nila doon sa aming baryo. Ako bilang kabataan, naging grupong pang-organisa, itinayo bilang pag-grupong pang-organisa sa baryo na nagpalawak ng organisasyon ng kabataan sa aming lugar. Kasi ang unang target namin noong palawakin ng mga kabataan para pagkaroon ng bilang mapakilala o kaya maintindihan ng gobyerno kung anong pangangailangan namin bilang mga kabataan sa ganong liblib na lugar. Ang aming mga pangangailangan ay edukasyon, eskwelahan, walang maayos na eskwelahan, walang medical, may health center, wala sa aming lugar. Doon kami binayo. Kumbaga doon kami binugbog ng propaganda ng mga kasama dahil totoong yun talaga ang nararanasan namin ng panahon yun. Kaya bilang ako na nakaranas ng ganong sitwasyon, nahikayat ako na buuin din sa isang grupo na nag-umpisa sa ilang member lamang. Ako ang itinayong bilang grupong pang-organisa na ito ay naparami ko sa iba't ibang sitio ng aming lugar. Na yung isa ang layunin, palawakin ang masa, mulat ang pangangailangan ng mga kabataan sa ganong klaseng lugar na napakalayo sa kabihasnan. Nung ako elementary pa nung time na yun, nag-aaral ako, ang mga kasama, parang normal na sa kanila. Normal na rin doon sa aming lugar kasi na may makitang may bitbit na armas kahit ang mga kabataan. Ako nung time na nag-aaral bilang estudyante, pumupunta sa school namin ang mga kasama, bitbit ang armas, ibinibigay sa akin. At hinihintay ako sa aking paglabas sa eskwelahan. At upang isama ako sa pagpropaganda, paghigayat, pagbibigay ng pag-aaral sa mga kabataan at mga kababaihan. Doon lumikot ang aking kabataan panahon yun. Na kung bakit naman ako ay napaputay sa edad na 14 na taong gulang dahil ang aking teacher ay mayroong karelasyon militar. Isinumbong ako ng aking guro sa militar na ako ay miyembro ng CPP-NPA yan panahon yun. Nung time naman ako isinumbong sa militar ng aking guro, wala ako.
The audio is out.
Mr. Chair, mukhang nawala yung signal. But maybe we can clarify to our resource persons yung tanong kanina whether or not Ella Colmenares was an NPA. Kasi itong tatlo na ito, sir, puro yan members ng main regional guerrilla unit. Isang unit na nakasama ng unit ni Ella Colmenares. So pwede pong resource persons, kung pwede, pakikwento po ito para matuldukan na itong issue na ito. Thank you.
Alex.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, with the indulgence of General Parlade, represent again oh, Shane, on the issue of involvement of prominent personalities, because she personally has a experience in meeting underground meeting with current congressmen, sitting congressmen, representatives now, and I would like her to share that testimony with the chairman, because they all claim they are not member, but she can attest personally. Yes, yes, sir.
Sige.
Good afternoon po ulit. I-share ko lang po yung isang pangyayari na nagkasama po kami ni Representative Sara Elago po sa isang meeting sa College of Law sa UP Diliman, Quezon City po. Noong 2013, panahon po yon na magkakaroon ng nomination for the Representative of Kabataan Party List for 2013 election. Isa po ako sa pinadala ng Central Luzon noon para dumalo doon sa pulong nagaganapin para palabasin na legal talaga ang Kabataan Party List. Pero sa totoo po, lahat po kami na mga dumalo doon is mga KM cadre, mga CPP members na kami po yung kumakatawan sa bawat mga regional youth sector po na naka-under sa Regional Urban Committee ng CPP sa region. Ganyan po. NUSP pa po siya that time, si Representative Sara Elago. At ang nominee pa po noon sa pagkakatanda ko, hindi pa si Terry Ridon dapat eh. Si Vencer Crisostong pa po, ang anak bayan, chair ng anak bayan national that time. Siya po dapat ang papalit kay Mong Palatino bilang first nominee ng Kabataan Party List. Kaya lang po, dahil naghabol ulit yung Communist Party, dahil sabi nga nila, hindi pang kongreso si Vencer Crisostomo, kundi panglansangan siya. Dahil mawawalan ng malakas na boses at matapang na muka ang kilusang kabataan sa kalunsuran pag ilalagay sa loob ng kongreso si Vencer Crisostomo.
Paano mo nalaman ito?
Nandun po kasi ako.
Nung pinag-uusapan yon,
Yes po.
nung nadesisyonan nila na hindi po pwede yung isa kasi panlansangan.
Opo, kasi po ibinaba po yun ng party sa bawat region. Nagbaba po yung Central Committee ng memo. Tapos binaba po yun sa mga regional party committee hanggang po sa pinakamababang party branch at party group po. Yung anak bayan po kasi merong party group po yan sa loob. Kasama po ako doon bilang KM cadre po. Dahil po 16 years old pa lang po ako that time, 2013. Isa po ako sa tinatawag na Youth Communist League. Kumbaga KM cadre po, na pagtungtong ng 18, full-fledged member na po ako ng Communist Party of the Philippines. Kaya,
Paano sinagawa yon? In-announce openly?
Hindi po. Ano po yun? Underground meeting po yun. Hindi po yun publicly.
No,
na-announce.
openly I mean sa inyo.
Yes po.
Open sa inyong grupo, nandiyan kayo nung sinasabi na hindi po pwede itong si Crisostomo ba yan?
Yes po. Ibinababa po yung memo sa amin. Kumbaga,
Memo lang ito, hindi ito yung verbal na announcement.
Opo, memo po talaga to ng party. Pinatawag po kami ng mga collective po namin. Binaba po
Hindi mo ba naitabi yung memo na yon?
Wala po kasi po ano po yung internal documents po, hindi po kami binibigyan basta-basta. Mga kalihim po yung
Sino
nagtatago.
nangangalaga ng mga dokumento na yan?
Mr. Chair, that is one aspect that the government finds it very hard to file cases legally in court because there is the nature of compartmentalization, strict code system, and once you ask questions pertaining to violations doon sa security protocols, you will be suspected as a spy. Kaya iniiwasan po namin yan. If you're not entitled and allowed to hold documents, magpagdududahan ka po kapag nagkuha ka ng dokumento.
Meron kayong document security.
Very strict.
Illegal.
And then we do not ask permanent questions related to names, circumstances, unless you are a higher organ. If you belong to a higher organ, like Regional Party Committee, you will be entitled to know down below.
But who's keeping all the records?
There is the person known as Deputy for Organization.
And
Deputy
of course,
for
di kalihim.
Deputy, pangalawang kalihim.
Pangalawang kalihim.
for
Siya
organization.
yung caretaker.
Siya yung party officer for personnel records, finance,
Ah.
security.
Siya lang ang merong access yan.
As much as possible sa computer files. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
According to level, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senate President. Kung
According
guerrilla
to
front ka, pababa lang.
according to security clearance ang tawag
Clearance
sa
and
military.
authority level. So a regional party committee down the line. But it's not up. If you're guerrilla front level or district level, you cannot have security access up.
And the security sector has not gotten hold of any similar document. Wala.
Related to this testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yung
there are.
sinasabi niyang dokumento na memong binababa, because that's material and that's material evidence. If you don't have that, then you don't have any evidence. Di ba? Aside, of course, from testimonial or testimonial evidence. Pero kung yung testimonial evidence will be supported by the documentary evidence, meaning probably yung memo na binababa, if you have not gotten hold of that document, then you cannot prove, no? At least you cannot convince the court na meron talagang link between the party list groups and the CPP.
In that note of the Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator Ping Lacson and Mr. Senate President, we have documents. I think hindi lang kayang i-present dito. I will give a hint.
What kind of documents?
Central Committee document order related to the campaign for implementation of party list. Yes.
You have that.
We have. Captured enemy materials ito during encounters with the
Why can't you share that with the committee? Or why can't you discuss it openly? Why?
It needs clearance, Mr. Chair,
Clearance from
the
whom?
security clearance from the armed forces because they have to process that first. If you will ask me the document I have seen, yes.
This is a vital piece of evidence. Why keep it from,
Mr. Chairman, actually, we have declassified a lot of documents. Maybe for this one, we can also do the same.
Just wondering why you will treat that as a classified document. Why not put it into good use?
That was actually a...
That could actually convince us, the Senate
Yes, sir.
President, myself, and the other senators, that what you're saying all along, totoo.
Yes, sir.
Di ba? Kasi as of now, talagang puro words yung narinig natin, testimonies. Of course, I'm not saying that we're doubting them because galing sila sa loob. Pero, di ba, what more could convince us kung merong document that could buttress, di ba, yung testimonies na pinapahayag dito.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
We have the document. I am
Yes,
very
and
sure.
even maski in the form of submission to the committee. Anyway, ang security clearance namin mataas eh.
Yes,
Kami
Mr.
mga
Chairman.
senador.
We will discuss that and I'm sure the outcome would be, we will submit it to you if required. We will submit the document if required.
Kasi nga, ang challenge,
Yeah.
as contained in the letter and even in media, ang challenge, prove. you provide the document, the evidence that would show that yung mga party list, yung mga legal fronts, ay talagang affiliated or under ng CPP at least.
Yeah, I affirm, sir, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senate President, we affirm.
The documents that you are pertaining to come from the central.
It's a national party list consultation held in 2018.
And the document would directly link the party list groups to the CPP.
Because it's a document of the CPP coming from their own laptop from the
Kaya nga.
leaders. Yeah.
Yeah, so please submit to the Committee on National Defense, Secretary.
We will do that, Mr. President. We'll do
Yes,
that.
sir.
Subject to the forensic preservation and just some advice to the sources so that we will not compromise them.
Yeah.
We will comply, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman.
What else? Kaya siguro kayo natatalo, yung mga importanteng dokumento, tinatago nyo pa.
Actually, sir, that's the lesson we learned for so many years. the intelligence community has been keeping
Unless
information
it is
to
an ongoing intelligence project.
Yes, sir.
But since it's out in the open anyway, nabanggit na rin ni Ka Eric, there's no more reason to keep it classified.
These are recovered, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir.
How about the chain of custody?
That is
Well
one of the-
established?
that is one actually of the problems, sir, on the legal aspect on the chain of custody, because
Baka naman
some
illegally
of the
obtained, baka hinak
procedures
nyo lang yan.
were not followed before. Some of the documents.
Baka illegally obtained yan, Alex. Baka hinak nyo lang, so kayo pa makasuhan under the RA for
Yes, sir. It's a really a challenge, sir, between the
Yeah,
investigation
kung
and
recovered in a raid covered by search warrant, well, that's
Oh,
evidence.
yes, sir.
Diba? Covered ng search warrant. Or, kung nakuha nyo by virtue of a court authorization applied by any of the units ng armed forces or the PNP, then it's valid. Unless ongoing pa yung monitoring ninyo
Some,
na
sir,
covered ng court
are
authorization.
through special projects, which of course will put the access agent in jeopardy if we reveal. So that's why there are still some information that may
Okay.
not be
You understand?
revealed, sir.
Yes, Ed?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to share my experience as an intelligence officer. We have a lot of captured documents, but these documents are actually unsigned or sometimes signed under pseudonym. But they are legal documents being followed by the party. Talagang hanggang pagbaba ng party groups, ito yung mga document like, for example, documents issued by Julio Ceron, the one who replaced Benito Champion after his capture, kung paano magbuo ng mga chapter ng Makabayan. And these are documents that are being followed. And we will talk among ourselves how to submit these documents to your committee, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Because that's the essence of the hearing this morning. See my point?
Mr. Chairman, we have learned some lessons there. There is now a better tendency to share information rather than to keep the information to ourselves.
Pagka kasi nabilasa yung information, it becomes useless.
And our information campaign is actually our way of saying that we are now ready to come up with evidences that are with us.
Mr. Chairman, well, also connected to that, so that everything will be transparent. There was a Jeffrey Celis that used to be a spokesman for Mayor Jed Mabilog. Do you know him, Eric?
I was the spokesman of Mayor Jed Mabilog, and I was also mentioned in the narco list of the president. But I can explain if you will allow me.
You were in the list of a narco list ni President Duterte.
In 2016, because of circumstances.
Why?
Okay. Mr. Chair, Mr.
Go ahead,
President,
go ahead.
I was expecting for you to ask that as if I was already expecting that you assume that you already know about me. Since hindi pa pala ninyo yan nalalaman, ako na ngayon ang harap sa buong bayan and the Senate. My inclusion to the narco list to the President in 2016 does not negate all the truthful circumstances related to my involvement with the CPP and PNDF. That's number one. Number two, my inclusion to the narco list was part of a government project. And that circumstances emanated from my being part of an intel operative. Matagal pa ako naging intel operative ng NPA. Pwede ba dito yun lahat i-discuss? Baka marami kasing tatamaan dito pag yun ang angulo natin. I was included in that list because it was part of a government project para lumansag at lansagin ang sindikato ng droga sa Iloilo City. It should not come out instead. But why did I decided to take the risk to face the Senate and the entire world? Kasi po sinunog ako ng mga kasama ko that the source of NTF-ELCAC and the source of General Parlade is a narco-list personality mentioned by the President. Kaya nga ako'y Eric Almendras sa matagal na panahon. I use that cover kasi po I am working in many instances in covert operations. At kasama po yan, hindi ko alam kung dito yan, but the inclusion to the list, the Director General,
I cannot yet reconcile, ano? Inclusion sa narco list, anong kinalaman doon sa movement?
wala na ako sa movement nang nandun ako.
Wala ka na nga, pero bakit ka kailangan isama sa narco list?
Okay.
Anong cover ang pinopurso mo, pinopurso nila ng gobyerno para sa sarili, para sa iyo, para isama ka sa narco list? Eh kung natukhan ka,
Okay. Yung point po, sir, direktahin ko na po. Nag-infiltrate po ako ng drugs syndicate. Not related. Kaya sir, buhay ng pamilya ko ngayon na nakataya kapag yan ay kakalkalin. Pero bakit lumabas yan? Sinunog po ako ng CPP, NPA, NDF to discredit me and prevent me from coming out. Hoping that they can prevent me to testify all these things. Because matatakot ako. Sabi ko, no. And I think
and your handler was, what unit? Never mind the name.
Nika.
Ideya,
Nika po, sir.
why? Is Nika involved in drug operations?
You can ask the Director General, sir.
Eh, umalis eh.
Nag-CRS, sir. And I request, sir, kung mga detalye tungkol dyan, sir.
Well, if I were to assume, ang assumption ko rito, Nika has been or had been coordinating with PIDEA or DDP. PIDEA, particularly. Kasi without coordination with PIDEA, tapos pinroject nyo ito, nasama sa narco list, nag-project kayo sa... I'm just wondering, bakit Nika papasok sa... Of course, all-encompassing naman yung intelligence work ninyo, di ba? Kindly confirm what he said, that his handler, yung project handler, Nika. Kasi lumayo na eh. This is ISO, pagkatapos na haluan na ng drugs.
Actually, sir, we have partners with the AFP.
You don't have to answer.
Yes, sir.
Is that inclusion or the project part of the cover-up para maproteksyon na si Eric? Is it the other way around, or
The other way around.
you really projected him for a particular intelligence project?
It's when the president took over, sir, his priority is drugs. That's why it's really drugs, illegal drugs.
But you've never been an addict.
No, sir.
Or how could you pass off as a drug?
Yes, sir.
Hindi, nasama sa narco.
Mr. Chair and Senate President, kung gusto niyo na pong lantaran dito. Personal po kami magkakilala ni Boyet Odicta nang maliliit pa kami. I grew up in Iloilo City. The Odicta group is the particular.
Yung napatay sa
Yeah.
ano.
The project is about them. Hindi ko po isasabi yung buong project na yun kasi maraming madadamay dito ng mga parang. Okay. So it was blown out accidentally, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senate President.
The NPA, no.
Ay may tawag ni Pangulong Duterte ang pangalan ko sa
Oh, pero bihira lang yung nakakahawak ng narco list.
Ay, hindi sir. It was a public pronounced with the President.
Okay.
August 2016.
Ang buhay mo. Igales. No, baka kung saan pa tayo mapunta.
Chairman, maraming witness, naka-standby sila. But,
Yeah, we can save it for later.
but we can...
Anyway, we're just hoping that those who invited today will appear in the next hearing. At least si Congressman Colmenares committed to appear in the next hearing because ang kanyang number one reason, he wanted to spend undas with the family and is out of Metro Manila. So, and the others, I don't know. Maybe he can convince them to attend because in fairness to them, and I promise, right here openly that I will give them the same opportunity, the same time, the same space that the committee has given you today. Yun lang assurance na bibigay ko sa kanila.
Mr. Chairman, may nagpadala po ng picture sa amin nasa Quezon City, sir.
Ah, meron pa?
Nandito na si Mr. Colmenares nasa Quezon City. May magandang loob na nagbigay ng picture sa amin.
Let him spend on that with the
Pero
family.
okay lang. Baka nandyan ang kanyang mahal sa buhay na namatay. Tama rin naman siya. We can respect that. Pero sarado yung cemetery, di ba? Sa IAPF. Okay lang.
Anyway, sige, let's wait
Baka
for...
gusto niyang umatras, hindi kami aatras.
Well, never mind that. That's off the record. So we will suspend the hearing today, this afternoon, and we'll just notify you when the hearing will be resumed. Is that fair? Is that okay?
Mr. Chairman,
So yung mga busy sina Secretary Anyo, sobrang busy itong mga taon to, pwede na kayong mag-skip, but we need at least the major personalities here. Of course, Secretary Esperon cannot be excused because he's the main man here. And Nika also.
in fact, we will thank you for inviting us again, if you would.
Yeah, we will.
This is our fight. NPF LCAP was designed for this. So, darating po kami, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Salamat po
So,
sa mga sumubaybay. Makikita namin, ang daming nagte-text po. Live. Sinundan talaga ito.
baka naman puro retired officers yung nagte-text sa'yo.
Hindi po, mga taga Mindanao. Nakikita ko lang sa mga napakarami. Mga fans ni Amihan.
Okay. So, with that, ako, meron din ako stories to share yung sarili ko experience when I was still sa previous life ko. But anyway, there's time for that. So, okay, this hearing is suspended.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.